The following is a conversation I had with Robert Sward, poet, author, educator, about the Muse, that elusive creative spark.
For me, the best way to access the Muse is having days at a time right out there, writing. And I've been, when I've taught, you're sort of in and out, and it's hugely frustrating. I mean, I worked on a novel that way. I've worked on my autobiographies that way, and there's a different, it's like a train that's making too many stops. It's like a local. It's supposed to, an express, and the Muse likes an express. I'd say too that the Muse is not necessarily interested in publication. I mean, there's something else involved. I mean, yes, I can be highly ambitious. Yes, I can be competitive. And yes, being competitive as I felt when I was at for example, at the University of Iowa Writers Workshop. And I found that environment of other people writing, very productive. The Muse liked that, kind of thrived in that environment. You need some challenge. You need some grit. You need to be in a community where other people are seeing the importance of writing. I can go in and out of that, but my 50 years or more of writing, I found periods like that rather helpful. And also being at a artist colony like Yaddo or Jurassic Foundation or McDowell, being in an environment with people. They don't have to be other writers necessarily. In fact, when I'm at places like that, I like hanging out with painters and sculptors and musicians. In a way, I prefer. If I spend all day with the computer or with the typewriter, it's just as well for me to play pool or ping pong or socialize or go out drinking with people who are doing other things. I find I get my own muse, the writing muse, is stimulated by contact with painters and sculptors and musicians and choreographers. And I'm very happy to be living with a fellow artist, but a painter, a visual artist, as opposed to another writer. I've tried living with other writers, and the Muse, the Muse doesn't like that so much. The collected poems was published in 2004, and it represents the whole body of my work from the time of my first publication, which is 1957, with a poem called Uncle Dog, on up to the present, which includes poems that are going to go into Kit Kat Club, which is the work in progress right now, and for whom Gypsy Rose Lee is one of the muses, because I am working in the voice of an exotic dancer also in this. But this is a poem called The Muse. As a rule, the power of absolutely falling in love soon vanishes, because the woman feels embarrassed by the spell she exercises over her poet-lover and repudiates it. Epigraph is from Robert Graves's The White Goddess, which is one of the prime texts on muses. Why don't you just write a poem right now, she says. Western wind, when wilt thou blow? Why do you write a poem like that anonymous, something inspirational? Talk about muses, I sulk. Yeats's wife was visited in her dreams by angels saying, "We have come to bring you images for your husband's poetry." Yeah, so what, she says. It's out of style. I already do too much for you. Odalisque in a wicker chair, book open on her lap, dry Chardonnay at her side, hand on a dozing, whiskered sphinx. You need a muse, she says. Someone beautiful, mysterious, some long-lost love, fragile, a dancer perhaps. Look at me. Yeah, I say, refilling her glass. You hear me complaining? You're Zoftig. Zoftig? Firm, earthy, juicy too, I say. Juicy plum, I say, in bed, left hand over her head. Rose petals, I say, right arm around her. Silver drop earrings, I murmur, ordering out for gifts. Aubergine scarf, gray cashmere cardigan. I do this in my sleep, go shopping in my sleep. Oh yeah, in a case of Chardonnay. Wake to the scent of apple blossoms, decades in the glow of rose light. Wake, she whispers. I tell her my dream. We kiss. Poppy Express, racy red, red coral, star red, red red. Enough. That's enough, she says. It's nice having a muse who can tell you when to stop. Um,
What do you mean?
well, there's an editorial function that one needs with the muse, what to put in,
Yeah.
what to leave out. And one tends to overwrite. When one is writing, one tends to overwrite, at least I do. And then what is excess? You know, what's the minimum that you need?
Yeah.
What's the maximum that you can get away with? What's the balance, you know, given the nature of the project? I'd say that Robert Graves's The White Goddess, that book itself, which is about inspiration, about the muse, about the white goddess, has been somewhat of an inspiration for me, you know, all these years, even though I haven't read that book for some time. I invoke it. I mean, there's things from it that come to mind. About dreaming, for instance. I mean, where you have out-of-body experience and you see yourself lying down and you're kind of hovering somewhere else. And Graves associates that with the visitation of the goddess. So in a way, you lose your life. You leave your body. You know, you pay a price, but you sure draw something at the same time. And it's interesting too that you know, this word inspiration, meaning inspire, to breathe in, to take in. Every breath we take is the muse interacting with us, coming into us.
Yeah. Prana.
Prana.
Yeah.
That communal aspect is really important. I mean, I sometimes wonder what it would have been like to have been an artist, a sculptor, a painter, say, in the Middle Ages, where people are designing a cathedral, and everybody's working with it, and there's no, you know, people are not so busy signing their names to whatever their contribution might or might not be. They're working together, and it's only in recent history, you know, say from the 18th, 19th century, that people really got into this. And maybe with the printing press, maybe following on that, there's an industrial aspect, technological aspect to it, where this is my work, you know, this is my poem, as opposed to the tribal or the communal. I'm a product of the technology, and of the time, but I can't help reflecting on what accessing the muse might have been like in a communal environment, insofar as I've had experiences with other people doing their own work, their own project, their own thing. What you don't value, you misuse, and you may value your muse more if you're in an environment where there are other people valuing their muse or their access to the muse. It gives back and it takes away. I mean, I've sought to teach. I do workshops, you know, at the house on Blake and on Eliot and Sylvia Plath and so forth, and I find the preparation for those workshops where I'm you know, spending days intensely reading or rereading Whitman or Blake or any of these people that I'm working with, and I found that very renewing. The teaching, I'd say, has been pretty good, you know, I mean, considering all other professions. For myself, I wish I could be a lens grinder like Spinoza, or have some of these other exotic ways of supplementing my income, but teaching is the way that has worked. I'm inclined to agree with Robert Frost, who says that, you know, one should never call themselves a poet. That's for other people to say that. I mean, it's there's a certain holiness to the term, even like the word creative, and that you know, you don't choose. You know, I'm a creative person. You know, I'm a poet. No, it's like a guru saying, I'm the guru. You know, there's something. It makes me skeptical, you know, and for I can't not do it. I mean, there have been times where I've betrayed my own best impulses. I mean, I've gone off and indulged myself, let us say, in a variety of ways that are accessible to all of us, and lived to regret it, and thought that, gee, I haven't done well by the Muse by, indulging in this or indulging in that. And I do my best work when I'm taking care of business. And you can live, the wild, romantic, self-destructive, high living way of life. And I've served that Muse. And I'm back, 9 to 5 kind of thing. Yeah. Not yet playing golf and voting for the Republicans, but I'm back. Guy had been upstairs and he said, "Well, you got this Gypsy Rosalie, on your computer. You're not going to want that." And I said, "Well, why should I be ashamed or cover up? I mean, she's my Muse too. I'm writing about this exotic dancer, and what I'm reading about, I admire this woman, who's really quite bright, and of course that's my father above her. If you want all the generations, there's my favorite photograph of my daughter Hannah. If she finds her way into what you're doing, that's perfectly okay. Okay. Well, this is a poem called Hannah, and you've seen an image of her at about the same time that I wrote this poem called Hannah, just a 8 or 10 line piece, and it's from a section of the book called Portrait of an LA Daughter. And again, there's a little epigraph here. The family is the country of the heart. Hannah, her third eye is strawberry jam, has a little iris in it. Her eyelids are red, she's sleepy, and the milk has gone down the wrong way. I've just had breakfast with the smallest person in the world.
I want this Muse project to be a conduit, a bridge amongst creatives, artists, communicating one with the other. And I asked Robert what he had to say to other creative people out there.
I'm looking, if I'm going to attend to your work, it's going to have to reach me on an emotional level. It's going to have to please and delight. And by please, I don't mean flatter. I just mean, that you put some craft, you've paid your dues, that you're serious about what you're doing, that it reaches me at more than just the emotional level, but at the heart level. I'm speaking from California, and I'm from Chicago, so I have these two takes on chakras, but I want to be reached at all the different chakras, from below to above. That interests me. And if you're going to bother doing it, or you're going to bother, invoking or inviting me to show you work on my DVD player, and to give you the time that you think you deserve, what's in it? What's in it for me as a fellow human? And what can I give to you? I was privileged to have Garrison Keillor read a couple of my poems on the radio. And I did get a phone call from a prison guard in Connecticut who'd heard the poem and was moved by it and wanted to hear more about the father-son relationship. And that was a delight. I mean, the guy's got an audience, and someone cared enough on the other side of the country, a prison guard no less. Well, that was good news. But I'm bombarded by poems coming in on the email, on the internet, explorations, books coming in, magazines. There's a lot to do, a lot to keep up with. I find it very healthy being with a painter, living with another creative person. Very helpful, especially a productive creative person. It'd be frustrating to be with another writer, but say another writer who wasn't writing, or my going through a period of not writing, being with another writer. I mean, that would be tricky and difficult. And you talk about being in a creative community, well, then I'm in some sense just hanging out with other people for whom not a big deal. It's just natural for them and natural for me. And what I find difficult sometimes is being with people for whom it is a choice, and it is somewhat rhetorical, and it is somewhat unnatural and artificial, and it, kind of makes you uncomfortable. But I'm not thinking I'm in the arts, as opposed to not being in the arts. I mean, I'm just living my life. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and